Steve, where are you going to sit?
I don't know. Steve, I'm standing here.
Check 1, 2. Hey, everybody. Hello. Thank you for joining us here at the GolfZone America booth. We're going to have a little fireside chat now. It's 1:30 in the afternoon. We've got some great stuff going on today, great programming, amazing simulators you can try. The City Golf booth is right over there. You can check that out. But right now, I'm going to hand the microphone over to our friend and partner, Steve Eubanks, who's going to facilitate this fireside chat. Steve, the floor is yours.
I may fall. Thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Welcome to another edition of the PGA Show. I hope everybody's having a great time. So let's jump right in. I want to start with John Padani from the USGA. John, it wasn't that many years ago that if someone had associated simulator golf with the USGA, they'd have thought you'd lost your mind. How did we get to this point? When did that change, and what does it mean?
Well, I think we're obviously working. Obviously, you turned on. Okay. There's been a huge amount of growth in off-course golf, of which simulator golf is a big part of that. 38 million people are participating in the game off course now. And that's an important part of people coming to the game. And the game's in the healthiest place that it's ever been. So we recognize that. We see that movement in the game. And we felt it was time to have a partner who could help us, take advantage of that growth and help stimulate them to further drive growth.
So you mentioned growing the game. Can you expound on that a little bit? I mean, what does the USGA see the role of sim golf in growing the game?
Well, I think, one of the key things it does is make it more accessible because you can have a screen in just about any location. You can't build a golf course everywhere. So whether that's cities, whether that's, in the winter and colder climates, whether that's ultimately in schools or, the various locations that people can play. So I think it's less intimidating, to start that way too, to be able to hit into a screen and not necessarily worry about where the ball is going. You see it visually, but you're not in wide open space. So there's a lot of elements that I think help break down barriers and bring the game to more people.
Mike, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. Now, the MGA has been a partner with GolfZone for a couple of years now. Obviously, it makes sense in the Northeast and Midwest where the weather is an issue, but how have you seen that relationship grow, and what has sim golf been like up there?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. And the MGA and GolfZone have had a tremendous relationship since 2018, and much of that has to do with what do you do in the wintertime, right? Our members will travel everywhere to play golf. Having that location, that home base, that simulator built into our clubs, but also the commercial locations that have been built in the past few years really has taken off and given the MGA member a chance to play golf at home and take that time to not only work on their games, but, join other friends along the way.
How has the integration worked with green grass facilities?
Yeah, it's tremendous to see. It as John had just mentioned, it's less intimidating to come on out, get your first beginning, learning how to play on a sim. You don't have to chase after the golf ball. Not everyone's watching you play. It's that great introduction for beginners. And we have a bunch of beginner events that we've put into our system across the year and across the Met area, which is great to see. And that's the opportunities we want to see to bring our members to then come to green grass facilities back and forth. It's a great partnership.
I love playing in a lot of the Met golf courses. A lot of them don't have driving ranges. Are you finding that the sim is becoming an alternative to having a driving range?
You know what? That's a very good point there. You are starting to see a couple of the clubs have those simulators built into their pro shops, and kind of you hit a few balls, go out, walk out to the first tee, and that's kind of your warm up, as opposed to the traditional warm up 300-yard range. Go hit a few into the screen, go walk to the first tee. Absolutely.
And Aaron, thank you again for joining us. Appreciate you coming out. You have perhaps the most iconic brand in at least American golf, probably in the world. You can put up a graphic of a hole at Pebble, and people know where you're going, where they are.
I see one right behind you. I like it in the GolfZone sim.
Yeah. So, How does simulator golf make sense in partnering with such an iconic brand?
It's a great question. I think a lot of what John mentioned ring true for Pebble as well. Pebble is that iconic golf experience. We're public. We've been public since 1919. But Pebble might not be for everyone for whatever reason. And we've tried to do more to leverage our platform to make golf more accessible. We rebuilt a par 3 course called Peter Hay Golf Course 5 years ago. Called it the Hay. We partnered with Tiger Woods and his design team. That course went from 10,000 rounds to 55,000 rounds. And if you're junior under 12, you play for free. If you're 13 and 19, you play for $5. And we do 10,000 of those rounds per year. And so, again, that's leveraging the Pebble platform to make the game more accessible, more approachable. And, you know, back in the day, Peter Hay had 10,000 rounds, and it was mostly beginners. It wasn't a lot of resort guests. That's totally changed. We view our partnership with GOLFZON much along those same lines. We're going to have the GOLFZON Lounge, which is going to be located in Spanish Bay. We're gutting the Spanish Bay golf course and going to be transforming it with the help of Gil Hanse. As part of that, and to help dial in the experience, we wanted to partner with Sean and the GOLFZON team to have those simulators available for warm up prior to play. But then for those that want to extend the golf experience into the afternoon or evening hours, this complements that. So we're really excited about the partnership and looking forward to getting started.
So you see it as a value add. Someone goes out and plays Pebble in the morning, they go do sim golf in the afternoon.
Yeah, I think the Hay is a great indicator of that. Some people will play the Hay and then go play Pebble Spy Spanish. Some will do the reverse. We think the same thing is going to happen with the GOLFZON Lounge, where they're going to play golf during the day, but they're going to want a little bit more at night. They're going to want to do it in a relaxed setting, and they're going to go have fun doing so at the lounge.
Right. And again, because you are Pebble Beach, you sort of had your pick of the litter. How did you land on GOLFZON?
It's a great question. I was actually talking about that with Sean and a couple of his colleagues this morning. From a course mapping standpoint, we are going to always be neutral. And we're on basically every simulator platform. If you want to play Pebble or any of our resort courses, you're able to do that. When it came to selecting a partner for who we were going to bring on property, we did a pretty extensive vetting process. Ultimately, we wanted to find someone who had the best technology, that would be a great partner to work with, and ultimately good people. And in all three of those, we felt like GOLFZON was at the top of the list. You know, we have a great number of brand partners who are leaders in their class: Rolex, Lexus, TaylorMade, and others. And we felt like GOLFZON was right there with those brands, and ultimately for us, the right partner to have.
John, I'm going to ask you the same question. Again, USGA, you've got your pick of the litter when it comes to having a partnership with any sort of simulator company. How did you land on GOLFZON, and what was the process that got you there?
Yeah, for us, similar to Aaron, the first thing was the technology and how realistic and good a product it is. I think they've been ranked the #1 sim, you know, in different publications and so forth, including Golf Digest. So that was important to us, make sure we're aligning with the quality brand, quality product. But I think there's also kind of the, you know, people and personal side. And Sean and I go back 15 years. We shared almost 9 years together at the LPGA, and we had a relationship actually with GOLFZON when I was at the LPGA, and we made trips to Korea to your headquarters over there. And so comfortable with the people, comfortable with Sean's leadership, and that was an important part of it as well.
Now, I've been able to grasp what the relationship is and how it's actually going to work with Pebble and with the MGA. What is the partnership like at the USGA, and what are the mechanics of how it's going to work?
Yeah, I think, you know, there's things that they can help bring for us, and there's, I think, value that we can provide to them. So one of the things that we've really improved over the years is our fan experience at our championships, US Open and Women's Open. And more and more people want a club in hand experience, you know, at those fan experiences. And even now on the hospitality side, we're getting feedback from our hospitality customers. So to be able to provide that kind of experience on site at those championships, expand the platform for doing so, to be able to play the courses where we're going to play the US Open and Women's Open. Obviously, with the Pebble relationship, we're there in 27 with the US Open, and we're going to be there a lot over the next 25 years. Yep. So, you know, all those things kind of came together. And then I think, you know, as we look forward, there's a lot of other things that we can do together, as we talked earlier, to grow the game. we're looking at the handicapping part of the business on simulators. We're looking at the competitions that there's doing. We think there could be an interesting U.S. Open challenge of some kind through simulators. And as it grows and expands and makes golf more accessible, there's plenty of opportunities to partner on those kinds of things. So there's just a lot to like about being partners in this space.
In the long term, where do you see this partnership leading?
Well, I think we just keep building on it. They're relatively new to the North American market and building their business here, but a global brand. And, I've seen what simulator golf is like in Korea. And we've got a lot of room for growth here in the United States in that regard, and particularly in more densely populated areas, and where you don't have good weather year round, and plenty of other expansion areas. So I think it's really just left to our imagination on how we decide to build on this for future years.
And Aaron, what do you think partnering with any simulator company, but specifically with GolfZone, means for the future of the game, being that Pebble Beach is such an iconic brand?
It's a good question. For us, it goes back to that accessibility and how do we leverage the power of the Pebble platform to help grow the game. If we can get more people into the game of golf, that's going to benefit us in the long run. Ultimately, yes, we would love for you to come to Pebble, stay at the resort, play our golf courses, eat in our restaurants, etc., shop for golf merch. But investing into, the future of the game, and whether that's someone who's 40 years old and picking up for the first time, or someone who's earlier in their life and they're playing, as we've already talked about, simulator golf is less intimidating. It's more accessible. It's easier to pick up. And so if that leads to more people who are green grass golfers, that's going to benefit the USGA, the MGA, that's going to benefit Pebble. And so if we can leverage that Pebble platform to help grow the game, we get really excited about that.
Great. And Sean, what do these partnerships mean for GolfZone and for the growth of the game in general?
I was starting to think I was just sitting here as a prop, but I appreciate the question. As most of you know, we built this business. Our founder and the chairman built this business based on one fundamental, which is accessibility, right? So, retiring as an executive of Samsung at 54 years old and starting a new business where there was essentially no industry, it's something cool that he's started in Korea. But we're starting to see our simulator and our fans and users coming from all around the world. And United States and North America is the largest golf market in the world. And when we look at expanding our business and continue to reinforce the fundamental of accessibility, who are the right partners to work with in this country, in this region? I just couldn't think of anybody better than USGA, Pebble Beach, or the MGA, because these are partners who are growing the game every day. These are the guys who already have the credibility built into their brand and operation every day. We simply wanted to participate in what they're doing to see if we can make a difference. For us, growing the game is really, really important on a lot of different fronts. And working with brands like Pebble Beach or USGA and MGA, that only really accelerates and adds more credibility to what we do and who we are. So I believe in these guys being the right partner for us to carry our business, but also simply put, just growing the game.
And what are the mechanics of that? I mean, what is your involvement going to be with the USGA, particularly in the men's and women's opens?
Well, I mean, John wants to provide fan experience. I want to create a U.S. Simulator Open. So there's a big gap in between what we want to do. And but John said it exactly. Like, the point is, there's a lot that should and could happen in the future. We don't know what's going to happen 5-10 years from now. What I do know, in my opinion, based on what we've seen in Korea and Asia, the indoor golf is going to continue to grow and it's going to continue to expand. At some point, indoor golf will be just another form of playing golf, and we're all going to be golfers. So I want to continue to work with USGA and Pebble and everybody, but particularly USGA, about creating something for all golfers to be able to participate in indoor golf, maybe in the form of US Simulator Open, maybe it's a US Open Challenge, but any and all opportunities with USGA will advance not only our business, but grow the game in the industry of indoor golf.
And Mike, looking ahead a couple of years, what do you expect the growth to be and the relationship to be between the MGA and GolfZone?
Yeah, I think it's quite interesting as we're looking towards more events and the opportunities to play our friends, our other allied golf associations across the country. I think not having to get on a plane or hop in a car for a couple hours, we can play with our friends down in Georgia, out in Southern Cal, just hop on a simulator and play a tournament and play a charitable event or an opportunity like that. I think there's a lot of ways that, the other barriers that we're so used to, travel mainly being one of them, the accessibility, as Sean mentioned, is right there in front of us to play on the Sims 24/7 if we want to.
John, are there going to be any Sims in the USGA headquarters?
We already have one. And it gets a lot of use. You schedule it like a conference room, and it is booked all the time, especially in the winter. So we just got it upgraded. So it's one of the most popular things in our headquarter building.
That's great.
Aaron and I were just chatting. So USGA and GOLFZON should be hosting a staff match through a network, and I think Pebble Beach and MGA wants to join that. We should have a 4-way tournament.
Yeah.
I like the sound of that.
I like that, and I'll place bets on the USGA team. we've got some good players in our building.
All right. Well, I'll take that any day.
You do too.
And Aaron, same question for you. Look, if you were to be able to spin ahead 5 years, what do you hope the growth potential is for both Pebble Beach and GOLFZON in this relationship?
For us, when we develop a brand partnership, just like John articulated, we look for, is it good for Pebble? Is it good for the brand partner? Is it good for the guest? And if it's not good for all three, then it's not going to be the right partnership. We believe firmly in at least the initial use cases in terms of how we're going to be leveraging GOLFZON and partnering with Sean and his team are absolutely satisfying all three. We'll continue to iterate on that. We have some early ideas. I don't want to let them out of the bag just yet for what the next 12 to 18 months might look like. But beyond that, the sky's the limit. I think the more that we can, again, leverage both of our brands to increase participation in the game, both here and abroad, would be great. I think for us, our international guest mix is lower than probably most people might imagine. And if we can help drive some better brand awareness in Korea, Japan, China, I think that would be a good thing for us as well. So again, I think the sky's the limit as we think forward. We have a really good plan for the first couple of years, and we'll then just keep iterating off those successes.
Sean, how does GOLFZON help in doing that, spreading the word about Pebble in these Korean and other Asian markets?
Yeah. So one of the things that we're looking at is how do we get more people? Because if you, like I said, I'm going to come back. So when you're looking at GOLFZON, when you're looking at golf simulators, I don't think a lot of people, if any, comes into an indoor golf facility and say, you know what, this is what I want to do the rest of my life in the game of golf, right? This might be a place where it gets you started, but eventually you want to be in an iconic place. You want to go attend the US Opens. You want to go play Pebble Beach. So we want to see we want to establish that there's a way you can do that, get to those places through simulator golf. So for us, running a global competition that is focused on you bringing the customers, or I shouldn't say customers, bring the fans to the US Open, US Women's Open, bringing them access to be able to play at Pebble Beach through a GOLFZON competition worldwide. That's what we're looking to do. And that's probably what's going to amplify our partnership with the two organizations the most, in our opinion.
That's great. And Mike, how about you? 5 years from now, what do you anticipate?
Yeah, I think the growth is seeing more and more events on our side, but then seeing our clubs, our green grass facilities, really utilizing that opportunity in the winter, but also the youth. I think our youth opportunities, our youth golf organizations, our clinics, our adaptive golf program that we just launched 2 years ago, we had 60 clinics for adaptive golfers on the Sims. We don't have many golf courses in our area that have that opportunity for those golfers to play on because of too many hills or deep bunkers. But the simulator is a great opportunity. So I think we're just scratching the surface as to what the beginner golfer is capable of on the simulators.
Well, I think, Sean, you guys just launched the junior tour, or at least just announced it. How does that play into that strategy?
I think it's addressing every kind of gap within kind of what's happening in our world. When we launched the GOLFZON Tour 2 years ago, we didn't have everything ready to go. We started with 12 teams, and we saw that second year going from 12 teams to 72 teams. That's a 500% jump. And every one of my operators have experienced anywhere between 20 to 30% more sim utilization. So we started that not having everything ready, but we also knew there would be other opportunities. So the operators came to us and we simply listened to their needs. They were saying, I love the GOLFZON Tour for the elite players of my facility, but I also want to have something for juniors, something for there's not as good of players. So we want to address every one of those. At the end of the day, our job is to get those people really dialed in and excited in the game of golf so they can go take their journey to the next level. So the junior tour that we launched is just specifically what our operators and our ecosystem is asking us to do.
That's great. Anything else, gentlemen? Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you coming out, and have a great show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.